Hi, this is Cora Stack here, Dr. Stack. I just wanted to wish all my friends on this YouTube station a very calm, peaceful, and relaxing Easter, and to thank you very much for all your very nice comments over many months. Since I started this channel, I really appreciate the wonderful comments. Sometimes I go back and look over previous videos, and the comments were fantastic. I never realised, that I'd end up being, in a queue in the Supreme Court. And there's the way the sequence is at the moment is that there is a case in which Mr. Niall Byrne is it's live. His case is being adjudicated by the Supreme Court at the moment, and it's live and examined by the Supreme Court, and that involves two questions: one on justicability, and the other on intermissible interference with the Constitution. So there are two very significant questions there for Mr. Byrne and his team to address. So Mr. Byrne is addressing those two at the moment, and then pending the adjudication of that appeal, then my case will be determined, will be examined for leave to appeal, based on the decision or the judgment in his case. So it's a very interesting case because there's a kind of sequencing. There's a lot of sequencing, and as I call it, the calculus of constitutional law, because there's a huge amount of sequencing in this, and even if you look at any kind of constitutional case, really, there's a lot of sequencing involved in the constitutional logic, really, and how you decide which article has the most power, or which is the pivot, and which are the which then do you bring in. It's brilliant, really. You have to really think about all the articles and look at how much power each of them has relative to each other, and look at the kind of architecture of the Constitution, and then make a call on all that power, and see which is your kind of pivot or your main article, and which are the ones that would, where you see the power in those articles in terms of the questions raised. So that requires a lot of deep thinking and investigation, and you have to think about that over many months before you can kind of firm up on your thinking in terms of where the power of the articles lie, in terms of the arguments that you're making in favor of your case, and similarly with the authority. So and a lot of this is in papers that have been written by myself and Miss Maureen Kenny, and a podcast called Politics and More, that is up on it's all just factual. So it's just factual information about what happened during the presidential elections, and it's been reported, I think, very objectively by Miss Maureen Kenny in Politics and More. So that's very well worth listening to, and she interviewed me about a lot of things, including my musical tastes, which are very varied, and it's a great relief to listen to music when you have to take a break from constitutional law, which is very dense and deep, and could be doing it forever, and you'd say you could do it a different way. So it's very hard to draw the line in a constitutional law argument, because you could be forever improving it. So it's never perfect, but so it's the great one for for exercising the mind. So that's been very interesting, and great. It's a great area to study, I think, and it's very good for the mind. And it's unfortunate that we don't have it in the in school, that we don't have some some introduction to constitutional law in school, because I think it's very important that we understand our rights. And I'm raising it in particular now with regard to artificial intelligence, and how it's important that that's linked in to constitutional issues and constitutional rights. I think that's not firmly, that needs a lot more work, I think, to bring the regulation of artificial intelligence into alignment with constitutional law, and this is a major area I think that needs to be developed, and that the constitution needs to control artificial intelligence rather than the other way around, as which appears at the moment. So this is where I'm going now with my thinking in terms of artificial intelligence, that it certainly needs to be controlled by the courts, in constitutional democracies, particularly Supreme Court. So and there's a long way to go, I think, before that becomes part of the way the state understands its responsibilities in terms of controlling artificial intelligence in the interest of the rights of ordinary citizens, and that is through constitutional law, in my opinion. So that's a big area that needs to be developed by policymakers over the coming years. But the sooner the better, if we're to believe the people that are saying that already artificial intelligence is beyond our control. And I definitely think that the warnings are significant and they need to be heeded. But it is possible to bring more regulation and more appropriate regulation into artificial intelligence with the right will. And I think that's urgent. Just looking at what I've examined over the past several weeks, absolutely, it is possible that artificial intelligence can be controlled in a positive way for humanity if constitutional law is brought right up into given its power to decide what is in the best interest of ordinary citizens in terms of the regulation of artificial intelligence. So I want to wish all my friends a happy Easter and to express my sincere condolences to the family of Mr. Patrick McCarthy of Dublin, who had a great interest in mathematics, and we shared many communications about mathematics education. He had a passionate interest in mathematics and science and computer science, and it is very tragic to hear of his early passing, and I wish to express my sincere condolences to his family and extended family, and to wish everybody a safe, happy and calm and restful Easter. I'm taking a break now from the videos because there's a lot of work to be done between now and the next while with regard to all these issues, and the research and the work is very it's very intensive, very hard on the brain, but I would say very rewarding, very intellectually rewarding, and so we have to keep working away, and we wouldn't say we're confident, but we're we feel we have right on our side, but we certainly don't have might on our side, and there's a long way to go yet. So in terms of achieving our outcomes, but we're working cautiously and slowly, and hopefully that we will be able to do the best we can for the people, the ordinary citizens of Ireland, and hopefully artificial intelligence will eventually be regulated properly by the Supreme Court.